TV, where the underground meets the playground. And this is the interview part 2.
Dos.
Do. So, question number 2, we're still working on, right?
Still? Oh boy, I apologize.
No, it's good.
This is
It's
awesome.
good. We want you to talk.
Yeah.
Talk all night.
I think you're the only person that's ever said that.
Only is that way when I play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys were playing that Battle of the Bands gig, or any of the Battle of the Bands gigs, did you guys ever imagine that you'd be opening for some of the bands that you've opened for?
I want to say no to be humble, but it was more or less wishful thinking, because we're just like, one day, like, because it's actually interesting, about, I'd say a year and a half ago, we, like, after every year, we try to set, like, a goal for, like, the year, because it's kind of good, like, to see, like, you know, have one thing to work for the entire year, and at that stage, I think it was right before our album was dropping, or, you know, yeah, anyway, right before the album was dropping, we decided, like, you know, we want to do our best to start opening up for national headliners, like, not because, like, oh, we'll get big that way, but, like, I feel like it's a natural progression, like, when you're playing with your friends' bands and you start playing with bands that you listen to.
Yeah.
So, you know, we definitely had an idea we wanted to go there, but, like, when we got, you know, for instance, we played the Decibel Defiance tour with, like, Flesh God, The Faceless, Suffocation, Decrepit Bird, like, that specific show, oh, that was just like a dream.
They gave us our own dressing room too, up in the balcony with all the bands too, which was really cool. And somehow Jerry and Brett and I were able to like maintain ourselves, but Mike had just gotten into Flesh God Apocalypse, and so he was just, and you know he's Italian, so he speaks like 3 words, and so he's just like he's like me piace la pizza, you know? And, like, he didn't even know their names, but he's just starstruck, and our drummer, even still to this day, is a huge Faceless fan, and he was following Lyle.
He got to hang out with me the entire day.
Yeah, he was hanging out with Lyle Cooper all day, and it was funny because, like, you know, and I mean, Lyle's got to be a great sport just to let, you know, even though he wasn't one of the bands, like, just to let a fan kind of follow him around all day.
Right.
It was funny just kind of looking in the parking lot and see Lyle walking to the bus, and Evan was like 15 feet behind him, just like trying to catch up.
Like, for him, yeah.
Wait up, Daddy! Yeah, exactly. But I mean, hey, you know, if a fan wants to follow me around all day, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll carry all your stuff in, like, feel free, you know, like, ask me any questions you want.
You roaded for Obituary.
Really?
Remember?
Yeah, we did.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Just for fun, we were hanging out, and we were there, and we were like, hey, I'll have to move it in. So I guess I was that guy, like, the old man behind them going, hey, up, guys!
Yeah.
Carry this in for you!
Actually, remember I bought all that merch? Terry Butler, who's an awesome dude if he's watching this, cut me a little discount, actually, for so it was nice.
He took $1 off.
Yes.
From that.
No, it was more than that. He's a good dude.
One sawbar.
Terry Butler, if you're watching.
Trade and drink ticket, for sure.
Yes, he did.
That $1 was probably his dinner, so you should thank him. You should thank him along.
Yeah.
Speaking of the different bands that I like, which of these bands probably treated you the best, and which of them treated you the worst that you've worked with the national acts?
Do you want to take the worst? Because I can't think of any right now.
I'm trying to think too. I mean, I wouldn't say that any band we played with has ever treated us badly. You know, I feel like it's true though.
I'm trying to think. Cause
you're just trying to find someone who's wronged us,
like,
so that
by accident.
so that we can expose it. Not just make it a public thing. No, but to my knowledge, we haven't had anybody accidental or deliberate, just treat us badly. You know, there have been plenty of bands that we've played with who just act like we're not there, you know, because we're just a local band that's playing, you know. And most of the 9 times out of 10, if we're on that bill, we're not the only local band on the bill. But there have been, you know, that I wish I had been there, but apparently after the show at Croc Rock for the Decibel Defiance tour, we were direct support for the headliner, so we were right before Flesh God, which was really cool. And apparently after our set, didn't the bassist from Suffocation talk to you?
No, he talked to Brett. Oh no, Brett was talking to him. No, he walked by, like, I was just big dude, like, big long hair. I was like, looked up at him. He was like, "Hey, you played earlier. Good show." I was like, like, yeah. It's like, walked right by him.
I did play.
I did play. Yes, I did.
That was me.
Yeah, that was I who
was me,
played
Thomas.
this string and lute.
So was that your best experience?
I don't know. We've had a lot of really good experiences with, like, a lot of the national headliners. I mean,
I would say not necessarily personally with any of the actual bands, but our best
dream lineup.
our best show that we ever had our best overall experience was not this year, but last year when we played the All-Star Tour at Crocker.
Oh, yeah.
Which a lot of the bands on that bill aren't exactly our style. You know,
Right.
there's a lot of more like hardcore bands on it and stuff like that. But we got to play. It technically was the second stage, but the way they had it set up was the main stage was outside. Because at Croc Rock, if you're looking at the stage, there's this wall is like garage doors that come up, and so the main stage was out there, and then so the one that's usually main stage was the second stage. So we basically had a captive audience, and that tour is packed every year. You know, just full. The venue is filled to capacity, and you know, just hundreds and hundreds of people in that place. And so we went on and we played our set. You know, we were backlining, so you know our logo was on the drum kit and stuff like that. So then when we brought our banners up and had the same logo, people kind of made the connection, and it made us appear a lot cooler than we were. And so people were already interested, and you know we played and did our thing, and we got an incredible response.
Cool.
And you know we had people that you know came back. You know, we played again this year. We had people that actually came back because they found out that we were playing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So,
Did you have any good experience with other bands involving butter or tickling?
Butter. I don't think so. Butter. Tickling, possibly.
Okay.
But that we don't want to.
You don't want to blow up anybody's spot.
No.
Evan is usually the one that goes into the buses with the big band, so I think he's the tickle expert.
He just comes out smiling. I'm not really sure why, but
yeah, I mean, you usually smile when you get tickled.
True.
I can argue with that.
Remember when we thought we looked like dirty whores when we were at Occupation Domination?
Yeah,
we get climbing in and out of all the vans. Like, who are those guys who keep coming in and out of all the vans? Like, nice to hear you guys.
My panties.
Yeah. What would be the best lesson that your mother's taught you?
That's a good question.
You want this one?
No, it's for both of you.
Okay, well you can go first. Cause...
Yeah, am I the only one with a mother? Shit, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds cliche, but they kind of stay out of trouble thing. You know, I haven't had personally any major run-ins with like the law or any like I'm not involved in drugs or anything like that. So it's like I guess if no one told me to stay away from that stuff, I probably wouldn't have gone the same way. So I guess that's probably the easiest thing.
Yeah. Mine was more or less like, again, it's really simple, but just treat strangers nicely, and just even from that, like just from we met so many nice people just from playing these shows. Like I made so many good friends. We played a show in Maryland where we were just kind of like we were definitely the outcasts because well, our version of metal is different from their version of metal. So they're we kind of like some softer stuff. So after the show, they were all talking to us, and we're just being like just nice. We're being like personable, and just that when you kind of break yourself down that way, so you can actually have a conversation with a stranger. Not only can you meet people where it can possibly help you out, but like we have places to stay down in Maryland too.
Right.
So I mean, I guess my mom more or less kind of instilled that in me. She's a very religious person, so she loves respecting people. So I guess respect overall, kind of like.
Mike will humor just about anybody that wants to talk to him. You can always tell when Mike is having an intense conversation with a stranger because you can hear his laugh from anywhere.
Yeah, my voice travels.
Like if you hear ha 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 ha, then you know that Mike is talking to someone he's never met before.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to hear that laugh sometime. How do we get that out of you?
No.
Remember, he's not a tickle fan.
Wow.
Yes.
I am.
I'm gonna go get the butter.
I am so ticklish.
Yeah. All right, so Matt and I are both actually old enough to be your fathers.
Yes.
So we're wondering. Wait a minute. Way over?
Yes. That was a quick and enthusiastic.
Yeah, I agree. True. Now,
much more conceivable in your case, though. Let's just say.
Thank you.
Record.
Now,
conceivable.
I actually have a daughter that's going to be 22.
That's 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
So yes. Dad.
That actually is a true fact.
Okay.
I wasn't about to discredit you on that.
Yeah. But the question I have for you is, what can you teach Matt and I about metal that we don't already know?
I mean, if you guys don't
You
realize...
really jumped into the tough questions here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you could just realize that the younger kids are getting better at guitar, like I don't know. I mean, it's only really, at least in my view, progression is just people taking things to bigger extremes. Like now, there's even faster double bass, or
even more strings on guitars.
even more. Yeah. Okay, yeah. How about that? Leave it on that note. There's just more strings on guitars. Yes.
EMG. I saw a post on Facebook the other day. EMG just released a 9-string pickup, and I was just like, what? Like I got an 8-string not too long ago, and I say not too long ago very loosely because it was probably it was easily like at least close to a year ago now, and I am still not comfortable on that thing, and just 9-string just
Pick up a harp at that point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Matt, can you pick up a 12-string bass and make this work?
Yeah, dude.
Even they make more sense.
The neck of an 8-string is already like a snowboard. You know, it's ridiculous. But I mean, as far as what to teach the young ones about metal, I don't know. I would say start them on the good stuff early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because organic stuff too.
Yeah, and I hate to be this guy because I don't want to sound like some sort of hipster or whatever, but just. Don't worry about following.
Is it Gent?
Sentence metal.
That's one of them, but just the whole trend
It's not
thing.
a real genre.
The trend is dead.
Pantera. What's it called? The whole idea of hopping on the bandwagon is something that, I mean, and it's not just in metal. It's with every, not even just music. Just so much stuff. It's something that's just been so overdone, where it's, one genre will come out that's, you mentioned the gent thing, which, like, gent is a word to describe a chord, but I won't even get into that.
Yeah. I thought it was a fancy guy that went to a party.
Yeah, right?
He's a gent.
Hello, gent.
Fancy gent.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen my keys? They're over there by the gent.
Yeah.
It's the dude with the monocle.
Yeah. The
But,
Monopoly guy.
Yeah,
He's a gent.
the band that I guess, obviously the band who's credited with, like inventing gent or whatever is Meshuggah, but now, like, in today's market, a big band that was a part of it was Periphery, and when they came out, it was just, they were just doing something that they enjoyed doing, and we're Periphery fans, and we enjoy the music that they make, but it seemed like many other types of genres before it, as soon as they came out and did something that everyone liked, now there are all so many bands that are trying to do the exact same thing.
Hey, that works, we should do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't, but the thing is, like, they don't
do it well.
They don't do it right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
It's more like, did you?
yeah. And I mean, again, when we first heard Periphery, we were blown away, and we thought it was awesome. We were like, oh, that's so cool that they do all that guitar layering and stuff like that. But we weren't about to hop into that and try to recreate that, because that's not the way our brains work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're a metal musician, or any musician for that matter, just write what you want to write. And if what you want to write ends up sounding like one of the bands you listen to, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But don't try to cater. I will admit that I've fallen into that a lot. Especially in my earlier years. Like, we were talking about the old version of the band and stuff like that. I can't tell you how many times I would write a riff and literally not even realize that I just played the exact same riff as something that I was listening to the other day. But that was just because I was just like, I just want to write this type of music. Yeah. And it was something that I literally had to force myself to get out of. So it's just, don't deliberately try to mimic anything.
And even on that note,
and that we gotta take a quick break.
Sounds good. All right.
Had to cut you off. Sorry, Mike.
That's it.